So I will see people post certain things that they're happy about or whatever, and you read the comments and some people are saying, "Oh, I don't know why you're so happy about that. I have that, I can get all that." Whether it's like, maybe they just got money and they never had it, or maybe they got a female and they never had that kind of female, or maybe uh, they're with a family, or maybe they're with friends, or da da da. And people are constantly like, "Oh, who cares? I got all that. I got all that." Da da da. And what you don't, what people don't realize is that not everyone grew up with all those things that maybe you had, and maybe some of those things that you had, people didn't get those things as easy. You know what I mean? Um, and I'm not talking about financials. I'm not talking about you know uh, physical stuff. I mean, just all around. You know what I mean? Somebody could have grown up with hella money and then maybe had no family, or maybe grew up with no money and then had a hella family. I don't know. I'm just using examples, okay? And what I'm saying is that people don't realize that people get, fall in love and get super excited for things that they've never seen or never had. Like, for example, if you take a person that's never been to the zoo in their life and you take them to a zoo the first time, they're probably going to be super excited. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. This is, I mean, they're going to like maybe fall in love with it." So what other people don't realize is that that's something that that person's never experienced. So that's a big deal to them. And to others, it's not a big deal because they've experienced that already. So my point being is that when you see someone super excited about something, maybe it's because they've never experienced that before. And this is their first time really experiencing that. Whether that's big or small to you doesn't really matter. Maybe to them that's very big. So that's a big deal to them. You know what I mean? You guys got to realize that some of the small things that you have, that maybe there's a million people out there, maybe not, I don't know how many, but there's someone that's dying to have what you have, just to walk, maybe to have friends, maybe to have a family, maybe to have a chick, maybe to have uh money, maybe to have a car, house, food, clothes, health. You know what I mean? There's a thousand things I can list that another person would die to have. So they would be extremely excited. Let's just use another example on the subject of health. If you took a person that's never walked their whole life and then all of a sudden they can walk, imagine how excited they'd be. But the average person might be like, "What the hell? It's just walking. It's not a big deal." Because see, the average person didn't think about. We take it for granted. You know what I mean? We don't realize how lucky we are to just be able to walk. You know what I mean? It may not seem like a big deal, but it is to some. For those who've never walked before. So another example is with myself. I grew up with a very small family. I've always wanted a big ass family. I'm adopted, so I've always wanted my own blood. And I do have a daughter, but what I'm saying is I've always wanted a big ass family. You know what I mean? For a lot of reasons. I'll get to that in another video. But my point being is that I grew up with a small family. So when I was younger, uh, well, I mean, like teenage years and past that, I would have parties and I'd have all my friends come, and it was like hella badass. I love that shit. That was hella sick. Like all my folks would come, and we'd be kicking it, drinking or whatever, right? Partying and shit. But that was hella dope. That was like family. You feel me? And that was a big deal for me, and I love that shit. But for other people, that may not have been a big deal because maybe they did that all the time. So that was not a big deal. You know what I mean? But see, that's just an example of how for one person it could be a hella big deal. Like, oh shit, like, you don't have family, or so you have hella people come through. It's a big deal. It's like, oh, this is hella dope. Like da da. But for the average person, maybe they have family get-togethers every week, every day. You know what I mean? It's not a big deal to them. You see what I'm saying? So the moral of the story is that before you sit and say, "Oh, why is this person so excited over this?" or "That's not even a big deal. Like I do that all the time," or "I have this and that," blah blah. Maybe think for a second. Hold up. Maybe that person has never had that before. So that's a big deal to that person. Maybe they've never experienced that so far in their life. So maybe that's why that's such a big deal. Maybe that's why they love that so much, whatever it is.